Driver than me.
All right, guys. So trying something new out on the channel. You know, I like to try new things out. I like to mess about with the video. Look at the video. Look. News desk, big screen. In this particular type of video, I'm going to have information that I've gathered now and again throughout the weeks on the taxi trade. It could be anything I've found fascinating over the last couple of weeks or wherever. I've put together in a compilation here. The stories are from various different websites, all available on the internet, all with proof of what I'm saying. If anyone deems to want to question what I'm saying, it's all from reliable sources. So let's get on with it. Of course, you can't have a new information desk without bringing up the subject that's on everyone's mind, Wolverhampton. So from April 2023 to March 2024, a massive amount of taxi and private hire drivers lived outside of Wolverhampton. The facts are, out of 21,188 total licensed drivers, 20,375 lived outside of the Wolverhampton borders. That means only 813 obtained a license from the area they lived in. That translates to a whopping 96.16% of drivers living outside their licensed region. Now, we all know why this is happening. It's due to the existing cross-border hiring rules, which allows drivers to register in one jurisdiction but operate in another. This practice has pissed people off across the industry, not only from the drivers, but also from the policymakers. The main issue with cross-border hiring is the inconsistency it creates in regulation standards. Now, each authority have different requirements for licensing, including safety checks, vehicle standards, and driver qualifications. It's said that due to the councils like Wolverhampton, it's led to a race to the bottom, where drivers can simply opt for the easiest licensing authority to get their license, with the least loopholes to jump through. And it's also said that this is potentially compromising passengers' safety and undermining local regulations. Now, earlier this year, Andy Burnham, the recently elected Mayor of Greater Manchester, grats Andy. On a side note, if you ever want to move to Liverpool, mate, you've got my vote. Oh no, I just thought politics. My bad. Anyway, he's brought this up as the front line of Labour's transport policy. He's announced a pledge to ban out of area private hire vehicles working should Labour win the next election. That's a big thing he said there, guys. He's pretty much said he's going to put borders back in. Will this be a good thing? Will this be a bad thing? What's your thoughts on it? This move aims to ensure that drivers are subject to the same standards and regulations they operate in, which in turn aims to improve passengers' safety and provide the local area with licensing standards that's right for them. I mean, if you think about this, how can a license authority down south tell the north authorities that their vehicles are compliant with the rules in their area? Food for thought, innit? Now, you will have to bear with me for this next one because I'm no Leonardo DiCaprio, no Wolf on Wall Street. But today, literally today, the 8th of May, Uber has announced the results for the first quarter in 2024. Trips have grew 21% year on year. Gross bookings have grew 20% year on year. Income from operators is 172 million, adjusted by 1.4 billion, which is up 82% year on year. But get on this bit, the operating cash flow of 1.4 billion. That's the free cash flow of 1.4 billion. That's how much they've got left over after they've paid everything, which is obviously getting given to the shareholders and all that type of thing. So the next time you see a ping for £3.75, you know why. Here's what the CEO had to say. Our results this quarter once again demonstrate our ability to deliver constant profitable growth at a scale. More than 7 million people now choose to earn flexible on Uber every month, with drivers' earnings being 16.6 billion and continuing to grow. Wow. The financial highlights for the first quarter is bookings grew by 20%, revenue grew by 15%, income of operators was up, net loss profits was down. They reckon in the next quarter, their gross bookings is going to be 38.75 billion, up to 40.25 billion. Shocking. In more local news to Liverpool, there is a local base that's determined not to give up to Uber, to the Uber scourge, shall we call it. They are buying up all the little bases, all the little ones that can't carry on because they're getting beat by Uber. But Alpha Taxis is continuing to grow its business. It's just moved over to the East Lancs and bought up a couple that way in that jurisdiction. And it's already in the Wirral. It's in Widnes. And I've heard now that it's heading towards Southport and actually bought a little local firm in Southport. So hats off to them for taking the fight to Uber. Whether they're setting themselves up for a hell of a fall, only time will tell. What do you guys think? Do you think Alpha's got a chance, or do you think they're just buying up and then it's setting themselves up for a nasty fall? Comments below, guys. I mean, that's a local thing. I've mentioned this one briefly to you in one of my ride along videos. So the black cabs, the cabbies, have got together in London and they're attempting to take action against Uber. So I've got a bit more information now as to why, how, and how many. So the group alleges that Uber improperly obtained a private hire license from the Transport of London under the terms of the Private Hire Vehicles London Act 1988. The cabbies are arguing that Uber's operating system did not comply with the Act's requirements. They've also alleged that Uber was aware of this. Uber have deliberately misled the TfL to obtain its license. They allege Uber aimed to gain market shares unlawfully, therefore harming the black cab drivers. Now, when I say a little group of black cab drivers, I'm talking 10,887. If if this all goes through and they actually win, the potential value behind it is going to be 250 million pound, then interest. I mean, what do you guys think of this? Do you when I read this story, I thought as if they're going to win this. Now that I've read into it deeper, I'm even more thinking they're not going to win this. Because if anyone's at fault or anyone should be taking them to court, surely it should be TfL. If I've read this right and I'm reading into it right. What's your thoughts? Okay, guys, a couple of stories there, little roundup for the end. Hope you've enjoyed watching. If this is the type of stuff that you want to see more of on the channel, then let me know by giving us a like, give us a comment, subscribe if you haven't, all that stuff. As I said, this is an experiment. First time I've done a video like this. Let's see how it goes.